legend in the game. You
Here we are, career mode deep dive.
You have to go where no one else has gone. Career mode in 25 is the most forward-thinking in FC history. Real-life tactics and situations with live start points, player career with icons, and I'm delighted to introduce women's football to career.
Yeah, thanks, Mia. Let's get into it. FC 25 marks a new era for both manager and player career. Players will be able to live out real-world stories from the biggest leagues in the world with live start points. This is the biggest update we've added to career in years. In FC 25, you can experience the drama of any team's real-world season. Pick up from where a team or player has left off that week, and you'll have to deal with the related league standings, fixtures, injuries, and transfers.
That's interesting.
Or start from a special snapshot moment, a curated starting point based on a newsworthy situation at a specific club, be it at a manager sacking, a big transfer, a team overperforming, and so on. We've also got loads of new updates across manager mode, driven by FC IQ.
Of course.
By way of team tactics and player roles. Player roles
are going to talk about this in everything.
Beyond player positions and drive success more than ever in career, on and off the pitch. Picking the right player roles is a key factor across player development, staffing, scouting, training and coaching. And it helps fuel and influence player and squad cohesion.
Sure.
Something our community has been asking for is an update to press conferences.
Just a couple of questions for you.
So we've used FCIQ to change how these work, to make them more dynamic. Reporters will ask questions that are specific to your tactical choices, your players and their roles. Your answers affect the updated morale system, so managers will have to find the right balance between critique and praise.
Throw back to the journey.
We've also updated the Youth Academy.
In whenever that was.
Starting with expanding the list of countries that you can send youth scouts to. And once you've identified the next big thing, of course, you've got to develop their talent, which is why we've integrated Rush 5v5 matches into Youth Academy.
It's good that they've found a way to get it into career mode.
Managers can actively boost youth development over the course of 3-match tournaments. Win the final, earn the maximum boost, and your next rising star will be that much closer to achieving their first team dream. Watch as your youth squad players physically grow up over the years. We've also added a long-requested feature to career gameplay, simulation settings. With it enabled, teams will play a more deliberate style of play, close to what you'd see in a real-world football match. Taking it a step further, we've developed a dynamic sim setting that changes aspects of the AI's play from one game to the next. There's really exciting things happening with player career as well.
This is quite cool, to be fair.
Now, you can take existing icons and put them in any team of your choice and see them perform alongside today's players. We're incredibly excited about this because it unlocks so many new opportunities to evolve career, and we'll have different sets of icons to choose from as the game progresses. In football, a good story is everything.
Not all out at
in
the
FC 25, we've made it so that players will have more flexibility in setting up their story of their player career. Storylines have expanded to the classic rags to riches story, or following in the footsteps of your parent, or coming back from a career-threatening injury. The story you select will have an impact on and off the pitch, from generating reactions on social media to influencing gameplay.
The Athletic are in, Fabrizio's in.
Our commitment to representing women's football within FC. In FC 25, we're introducing the world's top 5 women's leagues into both manager and player career. In manager career, managers will be able to move freely between managing men's and women's teams. And in player career, they can play for any of these top clubs. And finally, across both modes, we've designed a new visual system that has a slicker and more simple UI, with a new suggested task list that helps players with their next important decision. And of course, we've upped social media in FC 25.
Fabrizio, here we go!
With some of the biggest news outlets in football, like Fabrizio Romano, who will
be
keeping
always
up to date with all the latest transfer information.
Eventually.
Play well, and the fans will wonder if you deserve a statue. Play not so great, and well, they'll let you know. And that's everything new to career.
You're going to get slagged off on Twitter in-game.
Now, what will you do for the club?
They'll have it's just children. They're weird on TikTok. Okay, right. Well, let's see what else they've got to show. Oh, why does it not go to the right here? Career mode deep dive. This is what we want to show. So, this is the career mode deep dive. Live start points, which is interesting. So, yeah, you can basically start your career mode from a specific point in a season, which is new. Which, I guess, could be cool. Like, for example, if, I don't know, let's just use us because it's not going to happen. But let's say that there's this crazy scenario where after 5 games in the season, Leicester are top of the league. You could take over from that point and see if you can continue that for the rest of the season. Or if Liverpool are 19th after 15 games, can you recover their season and get them to survive, rather than just starting from the beginning? Women's manager career. In a first for any football game, players now have the option to play manager career in 5 of the top leagues in women's football. That's sure. Okay, this is a great picture. FCIQ is in career because, of course, it's going to be in every game mode. This is their big thing this year. The FCIQ is changing everything to do with tactics, instructions, everything like that is all being redone. So, in Manager Career, you've got your live start points and snapshots. So, blah, 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 blah. Each live start point will reflect the current points total, goals scored, transfers, cup progress, etc. Our aim is to release new game weeks regularly, giving you the option to play alongside authentic competitions and potentially change their outcomes. So, again, maybe if someone is in the Champions League, but they lose their first game and draw their second game, can you turn it around and get them through to the next round? Something like that kind of thing is a good idea. Additionally, snapshots capture some of the most pivotal moments of the season, enabling you to easily jump in, take a team over across a selection of leagues. So yeah, stuff like big sackings, big transfers. So I guess in January, we'll probably see a fair few of these pop up as available snapshots that you can jump in with. Surprise unbeaten streaks and underperforming clubs turning things around. Exactly. So, this will start later in 2024, once the season is underway, and you can keep checking in right up until the end of the season. I like that. That's just a fun little addition. Is it enough to make me play the modes? No. FCIQ in career mode. We've heard so much about FCIQ that as soon as we knew that this was one of their biggest focuses this year, we knew that in every deep dive in each of the modes, they were going to focus on this. And so this has had a mention in all of them. So we're just going to skip past that because we've heard so much about it. Development plans are now fueled by player roles and include role growth potential, which again is the FCIQ player role system rather than instructions and positions and stuff like that. So, okay. Press conferences and morale sweet spots. In FC25, we're evolving the morale system for an approach of the more the better to a sweet spot system. So if a player's morale gets over a certain level, they're no longer very happy, they become complacent instead. That's good, to be fair. Like, again, as someone that doesn't really play too much in terms of career mode in this or any other sports game, this is realistic, and this should be a thing. Because, yeah, otherwise you can basically just make everyone happy by praising every single player and then they'll perform better. But if you're constantly just saying, oh yeah, this guy's the GOAT, then he won't have to try as hard because he's just like, oh, doesn't matter what I do, I just get praised to keep me happy. So, that's not a bad idea. That's good. Youth Academy, so this is obviously where they have introduced Rush into this year. So that's going to be interesting. You can now scout up to 4 specific positions, allowing you to focus on areas that need reinforcement now or in the future. Players now also have the ability to scout for 3 distinct roles within the selected position. So, for example, at centre-back, you could go for a ball-playing centre-back. You could search specifically for that rather than just centre-backs. So, that's a good use of the FCIQ right there by being able to break down what you're scouting and searching for. Rush matches will be an FC25 manager career with the Youth Academy, as, again, we've seen and heard before. So that is apparently bi-monthly tournaments. Winning these can provide a significant increase to the development of the youth players. As they said in that trailer, if you go on and win it, you'll get a bigger boost. So, cool. Women's football in manager career, they have the top 5 leagues, the WSL, D1 Arcama, the American one, the German one, and the Spanish one. And the prestigious Women's Champions League competition will be playable as well. Sure. Cool. You can move between men's and women's leagues within the same career to experience both sides of the beautiful game, which I think is good, rather than you basically setting off when you start, okay, I'm doing a male career, or I'm doing a women's career, and you being stuck on that. The fact you can jump between is a nice quality of life thing to have, rather than having to have 2 save files on the go. Customization. Focused on delivering a series of settings that will enable you to better control the way you simulate your gameplay experience and AI behavior. You can now select from a series of predetermined presets tuned for specific situations and gameplay moments. Players can toggle between a realistic setting, which would lock the gameplay sliders to value closer to real life, and a classic, which is meant to highlight the classic feeling of playing through the established FC gameplay. Okay. And you can get into detail with all the toggles and sliders and stuff like that. You can raise the difficulty of your save by making transfer negotiations stricter, setting the board expectations to be harsh, slowing the training plan recovery rates down. So, I like games where you can make things hard for yourself if you want to, right? That's a good thing. Or you can just make it really easy for yourself. Make it so you can't get sacked, there's no scouting. If you want to have a really, really casual experience, then you can. I don't mind that. Give us the flexibility rather than either making something really easy or really hard straight off the get-go. Good. And you can change things mid-save without having to start a new career. That's good. New manual visuals and social media. Sure. So we saw that in the trailer. Some people like Fabrizio are going to be in there. And then we just saw icons are going to be in player career for the first time as well. The list of available icons will update and change over time to give players different experiences. I'm assuming by update and change they just mean adding them. Because I don't really see why, for example, at the start of the year you'd be able to play as Beckham, but then 6 months later you wouldn't? Like, what about people that get the game for Christmas or a birthday or something that miss out on that because you took it away? That would be a really stupid decision. So I really hope that they just mean that they're going to add more and more and more. Our aim with the addition of the new origin stories is to bring in some fresh perspectives to player careers. 3 paths, each with their own advantages and challenges, will guide you through the start of your career. You can start off as a child prodigy, someone coming from humble beginnings, or a player who has known the glories of top-class football but has sustained a career-threatening injury and now making the comeback. The absolute scenes. You can also set up your own starting conditions as part of a custom start. I like that. More customization on that kind of thing is good. That's good. Player customization is being improved, just like we saw in pro clubs and everything like that. The cranium technology that they've talked about is just going to make things bigger and better in that regard. And then, yeah, women's football. You can start a player career in women's football as well. So, I don't play enough career mode to know exactly how big these changes are. Whether there were things that people who play it day in, day out were really hoping for that are not in here. Who knows? But from someone that doesn't play it, some of the changes just sound like good additions, good quality of life changes, nice new things. But were there specific things that people were really desperate for? I couldn't tell you. People go on about online career mode all the time, but I genuinely don't think that the vast majority of people that ask for online career mode, they don't even know what that would look like or how it would work or anything like that. So, yeah, it's It's not bad.